for example here, intégration na ba langue eza bien. Nga na lo lingala bien te mais soki na ina solo na famille nanga na Congo to solo laka parce que na yebi kamwa lingala mukie. However, let's go on to the bad points. One thing namona kake integration is la bien te is like na ba mariage, I would see. However, if you're going to think of doing that, before you do that, go to your own country. Go to your own country, see your own country, feel your own country, smell your own country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello everyone. We are here at the MVD show, a new show here on Congo Synthesis. We're here simply just to discuss topics, to discuss real life, to discuss everyday life, things that go on in our everyday life. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are here from my channel, thank you so much. But before we start, nalina pesa mbote epa ba famille na nyonso, ba famille na Belgique, na France, na Afrique, Angola, everywhere, tout le monde. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My mom, thank you so much. My dad, he's here sitting with me. Thank you so much for the support every single time. So, why are we here today? Right. 2 weeks ago, nazalaki awa na show ya leke show, and tozalaki kosolola masolo ya integration. Papa Bienvenu Bubanza kenaki na show ITV pona a solola makambo esalamaki me integration moko esalamaki kuna siko. What was the integration? The integration was that he was speaking English on a show that first of all, he doesn't know English. A show that's fully English, balubaka anglais, lingala balubate. Me ye papa Bienvenu akendaki kuna bandaki ko solola na English panda inauditant. Me tomo na community ke it's hard for people to do that, to go on a English show to speak for that long. So that's why I am here to continue my solo ya integration. You know, integration. What are we doing? Have you integrated enough? Have I integrated enough? I feel like in our community, we stop ourselves from integration. We get too, what's the word? I would say comfortable. We get too comfortable with what we have that we don't want to expand. We don't want to grow. I feel that's one issue we have. Sorry if I'm looking down, everyone. I've got my notes here, so excuse me for that. Another question, ask yourself, Omituna, do you have a problem with integrating? Or is that a problem I could integrate? I would say with me, yeah, 100% I do. One thing I'll look back at is just stopping up when I integrate is my skin color. That's simple. The first one for me is my skin color, but that's another conversation for another day. Another one, Otuna question. What could you do to integrate yourself even more? Yo okosala nini pona o integrate more na mokili, na pe na community na yo. For example, I don't know, start a shop. For example, start a club for kids to come together from all different countries. What are you doing to integrate? And the one thing I also want to touch on is the youth. I feel like, especially by youth, there's not a problem you could integrate. We don't want to go back a lot of the times. I don't want to say that I blame our parents, because they could just say little comments like, oh, Congo is this, for example, Angola is this, and it could not make us want to go back. That's totally fine. However, we in our own mind, we grow up, we need to kind of get to the point where we need to stand up for our country. So I feel like our youth, we need to stand up. We need to try and go back. We need to go and build, integrate with our home countries. We need to go and build what we've learned here, go back and go there. Do you get me? For example, our parents done it. One thing for me was a big thing is parents integrating. It's a choice, yeah? They chose to come here to the UK. They didn't have to. but it's also a choice for you to go back home. It was a choice for them to integrate. So why can't you? Omituna. If our parents can integrate, why can't you? Because I can't blame them. They're not me. They're not you. Why can't you integrate? Why can't you go out in the community and do something for the community? Why can't you go and speak to someone, integrate with someone, talk with someone, and speak about topics that you've never spoken about? That's how integration starts. It starts by one person and one conversation. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Especially one thing that I always say is that you should all abuse the education that the UK gave us. Here in the UK, we're very privileged. We're very, very privileged. Back home, we're not as much privileged. Education is hard to find. Work hard to find. Do you get me? But here in the UK, we've been given how do I say it? Not a platform, but we've been given the chance to just simply go out there, go to school, free school, free school. We're not paying for school. We get free things like free school meals, things like university, things like finding a job is so easy, so easy. But yet there's a lot of my youth, balingi ba bimate, bakin ko find musala. They don't want to do anything. They just want to stay at home and live off their parents. But namunoko ozolo ba nalingi na integrate nalingi na kende kongo nalingi this. But how are you meant to make that move of integration if all you're doing is sitting down and doing nothing, being lazy? As I said before, you can't blame your parents. You cannot, never you can blame your parents, especially if you're at an age, okoli, you're doing things by yourself. You can never go back and say, my mom, my dad. You shouldn't even be doing that. You can't. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the youth. So I feel like as youth, we need to stand up. One thing as I feel like as well is that us as youth, we don't even want to get involved. We don't want to, for example, one person has like a club. We don't want to go to that club because maybe you may have had the same idea, but because they've done it first, you see it as a threat. No, we need to integrate. We need to get together. We need to stand up together. Especially one thing with going back home and integrating is super, super important. So important because we can be the future. As I said, the future is in our hands. There's hope for the future. However, the hope is in us, but we need to bring it out. If you don't bring it out, how are you seeing hope? How is there hope? There's no hope at all. That's the problem I feel like with our youth we're too lazy. They give everything to us. Everything is given to us. We shouldn't have to just sit down and receive. We should go and give. That's how you keep things moving. That's how you keep things going. It's super important to give. Ask yourself, what are you doing for your community? Ask yourself. Ask yourself something little. Am I, for example, I don't know, giving back to a charity? So, and it doesn't have to be just giving back to a charity in your home country. You can give back to a country. You can give back to charities here. There's a lot of charities. There's breast cancer. There's MenCap. There's a lot of charities. Give back. Start by doing something little. It doesn't take a lot for you to do. Just something little. For me, one question I always ask, I've been asking myself for a long time, is integration bad? Intégration, is a mabe ou bien malam? Let's start with the good points. For example here, intégration na ba langue is a bien. Nga na lo lingala bien te mais soki na ina solo na famille na nga na Congo to solo laka parce que na yebi kamwa lingala mukie. It doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe a local, maybe form a sentence. As long as I can do that, that's integration within itself. Another good thing I will say is, for example, those that are going back to build charities back home. There's a lot of people I've been seeing around going back home to build charities. For example, there's one in Congo one, I forgot what it's called. But they built, that's a charity that the person that's the founder of it is from here. They were born here. However, they decided, okay, let me go back and let me build something good for the community. And that's what we need to start doing. We really need to start doing. Another thing is with good integration, I would say, is our parents helping us, for example, with our homeworks and stuff like that. If they didn't come to the UK here and they didn't learn English and they didn't choose, remember, it's a choice. It's a choice to learn what you want to learn. If you want to learn the language, for example, here in the UK, we speak English. Our parents obviously came from other countries, wherever they're from, your parents are from. They decided that was a choice that to learn English. They chose to learn English. So the fact that your parents chose to learn English, they're going to your parents' evening, they're helping you with homework, that's already within itself integration. Let me, for example, I know someone, my neighbour, has been in the UK for over 20 years. Over 20 years. All their children were born here. Believe it or not, they don't speak English. Just hi. Believe it or not, just hi. Now, do you think in that sense integration was good? Do you think she wanted to integrate? You could ask yourself, maybe she didn't, or maybe she just felt like she couldn't integrate. You could ask yourself that. That is one thing to ask yourself, definitely 100%. And however, let's go on to the bad points. One thing, namonaka ke integration is a la biente, is a like a naba mariage, I would see. And what do I mean? I see this like investing in your own in others' cultures before you invest in your own. What do I mean? So let's say, for example, Tozana, a couple. Let's just say one is from Kenya, one is from Chad. Sikoyo, the one that's from Kenya always goes to Chad, always goes, but it's not from Chad. Abotama na Kenya. Sorry, abotama out na UK. Me, I can Chad every time. So why is it that I invest time na I na Chad me na country na ete? And I feel like that's where a problem where our parents have with us youth, especially with integrating. I feel like that's where they see a problem. We invest our time in other stuff instead of our own. It's not good. It's not good at all. I don't think that we should do that. However, if you're going to think of doing that, before you do that, go to your own country. Go to your own country, see your own country, feel your own country, smell your own country. Like me, I've never been back home, both of my countries. But I will never set foot in another African country before I set foot in my own country. I repeat, I will never jou mokote na kokende na country misusu avana kede na Congo ou bien Angola, because that's where my parents are from. Never. I could never. That's one thing I would never do. And I would advise you, no matter your age, so you're from, I don't know, you're from Chad, you're from Kenya, you're from, I don't know, from Pakistan, wherever you're from, go to the country that birthed you. Go to the country that birthed you and then explore. Explore, because that's part of yes, it's good to go to other countries because it's integration. But if you really, really want to integrate and you want to start somewhere, I feel like start with your home country. Start with somewhere that's close to home. Somewhere that's near you. Super important. Start with somewhere that's near you. For example, it's a lot of people in this world that, yes, funds are low and stuff like that. But start with, if you can't go back home, start with your community. Your community, like, is super important. That's the closest thing you could get to home. Yes, you may want to go to other, I don't know, to other communities and stuff like that, but start with your own. For example, like me, I would say, if I have to really be honest with you lot, I'm not as integrated as I would like to be in my community. I think, but then for me, I feel like what plays a part is where I grew up, the area I grew up. There's not much people that are from the Congo or from Angola, so I feel like that's one thing that has stopped me. However, it's a choice that I made to not go and search. So that's on me. That's my choice that I didn't want to integrate. Do you get me? So if one advice I will definitely give to you is to definitely look into your own, look into your country, look into your languages, look into what made you, and then go to other cultures and stuff like that. Super super important, you know. Like I feel like when you see other people, other cultures probably are more integrated than yourself, but they could have the same issue as you. It's okay, but start with yourself. Start with going to places, to meeting people that are like you, that are from the same country as you, probably also have the same mind as you. That will really really help you to grow and to integrate yourself. Very very important. That's the one advice I'll give to you. Thank you so much for just simply listening to that. Just to summarize exactly what this video, the title was about. For me, I personally came to target the youth, including myself, not just you watching. I'm targeting myself as well. Do you get me? It's good to take your own advice. Um, as youth, I feel like we need to stand up and integrate, stick to our own countries, integrate within our own countries. You know, us being born here in the UK, super lucky. We need to simply use the education they gave us. The word I use is abuse. Abuse the education they gave us and go back home and build the future there. That's integration within itself. Another thing I would say is parents, back us up. We do need your backing. A little bit of advice would help as well. Like myself, I get always get advice from my parents. Like always ask if I need to do something. I ask. So ask your parents. Parents, back us up because we need you the same way you need us. Super important. Super super important. On that note, remember guys, there is hope for the future. We are the future. The future is there, but we need to stand up and unite. Thank you so much for being here on the MVD show, new show here on Congo Synthesis. God bless all of you, and we'll see you again in the next show next week. So make sure you're tuned in, and thank you for having me. I've been your host, Eunice Isabel, and yeah, see you. Bye.